Everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and I have a little list here in our catalog of frequently asked questions. And what I wanted to do is go through them very quickly, maybe do a quick expansion on some of them. But these are questions that we have gotten over the years, many, many, many questions, and these are our most basic. There's 18 of them, and I'm just going to go over them really quick and maybe add a little bit of extra information to them. So here's some of the things that we get. Now, number one is I would like to try your products, but I don't know where to start. Because what we find is when someone reads through this catalog, they go, I need one of everything. And the truth of the matter is that no, you don't. You don't need everything. There are some staples that we suggest, and there's one thing like the Lomatium, the LDM 100, I think belongs in every family so that you have it even if you don't use it every day, but you have it for all the kinds of issues that you can clear up using the plant Lomatium. You can also start with our starter kit, which has a ton of products. We throw them all together, we put a discount on it, and it's got a lot of great things like the throat spray and the immunity boost, the serum, the salve, it's got soap, it's got the brain glow, it's got some really great products in there, which is a really nice way to start. And then we actually give you a list of instructions on how to start using the starter kit. So that's what I would say. I would say look at your number one issue first and then start with that product. You don't need to start with everything, even because what happens is you don't want to get overwhelmed and then just not do anything because it's too overwhelming. So start off slow, especially when you're learning about herbal medicine. And then another thing I like to suggest to people is that as time goes on, start adding these different tinctures to your herbal apothecary so that you can have them and you can sit them on a shelf, and then as you need them, you can use them. So for a good example, feverfew. It's amazing for headaches and migraines, but it might be something you don't need every single day. So it's something that you use it as you need it. The shelf life of a tincture is very, very long. In fact, the shelf life of a tincture is indefinite. If you have an airtight seal, you can keep a tincture that doesn't have any water or glycerin and it will stay good until you use it. So that's a nice thing about a tincture. Okay, so the second question, how long will I need to take it? Depends on what you're taking it for. It depends on how long it takes your body to respond. This is where it can kind of get a very individual, is what do you need it for? And this is where you get to educate yourself on these products. And then you get to tune in and decide how long you need to take them. How much should I take? All of the directions are in there. Also know that there's not any really super hard and fast rules. You can change the dosage a little bit. If you are super sensitive, you can literally take all of our tinctures down to 1 drop at a time if you need to, which is the beautiful thing about taking liquid herbals, which I love. Will Lomatium or LDM kill the good bacteria? Now, this is a question we get all the time. To the best of my knowledge and use 45 years of using Lomatium, I do not believe that Lomatium destroys any beneficial bacteria. And the reason I think that's true is this is just the perfection of Mother Nature. And I've also seen people take it, and I have experience using it myself, my family, my kids, my grandkids, my siblings, my extended family, so many people. And it doesn't seem to affect their good flora. And again, I just think that that's the perfection of Mother Nature. So it might go after a viral issue, a fungal issue, candida, whatever you're going after, but it doesn't disturb any of your good gut flora. Now, that being said, I do think it's a good idea to use Lomatium and a probiotic at the same time if you have a compromised immune system. And if you don't, if you maybe have used a prescription antibiotic and you've kind of wiped out your beneficial flora. So take it by your individual case. In fact, what I do is a lot of times I will travel with a good probiotic, or if I feel like my immune system is lower, then I will take a probiotic as well. So to me, taking probiotics is, that's an individual thing for individual times. So that's the good bacteria thing. I'm taking several tinctures. Can I mix them? The answer to that is yes. Make a little cocktail. There's none of our herbal tinctures that can't be blended together. So yeah, get a little bit of water, put the drops in the water, drink it down. That's how I've always taken my tinctures. If I've taken 1, 2, 5, there's been times when I've taken probably 6 or 7 tinctures at once. So yes, you can absolutely blend them. Can I take them for a long time? The answer to that is it depends on what it is. Now, if you're talking about our lomatium or any lomatium, your body doesn't appear to build an immunity to lomatium. But there are some herbs, like, for example, echinacea, that your body will build an immunity to. So you need to rotate that around, maybe go 2 months on, 2 months off, 2 months on. If echinacea is something you like to take on a regular basis. So there are herbs that so look it up, do a little bit of research, do some due diligence, find some good sources. And this is probably something that we're going to be bringing out is a list of herbs that you should rotate. And this is just some extra information that we can share with you. Can I take my prescription medications with my herbals? Now, this is a question we get almost all the time, almost daily. So my best answer for this, for you for this, is you need to use your best common sense. And I feel like this is, again, where knowledge comes in. If you're taking a prescription blood thinner, then you shouldn't do an herbal like ginkgo biloba or una de gato. There are some herbs that have natural blood thinning properties. And this is also something that we are going to be putting out is a list of herbs that you shouldn't take with prescription blood thinners, because this seems to be a common prescription that people are on. Now, if you are taking a prescription that, I've had people take herbals, and our herbals in particular, with a prescription with very, very good results. But this is what I would say. Common sense tells you to take prescription medication separate from herbal tinctures or herbal products, because they need to go into the body and absorb separately and do their job away from each other. And to me, it's not because there's going to be a horrible adverse reaction. It's because that's common sense. We need to respect what our body does and how it handles things. And you need to remember that every single thing you put into your body absorbs into the bloodstream, absorbs into your tissues. And prescription drugs and herbal medicine, in my opinion, should be separated. And you should take them at separate parts of the time. 2 hours, 4 hours, 1 hour. Maybe take your tincture first, because it absorbs really quickly, goes right to the bloodstream. And then you've got maybe a capsule or a tablet or some kind of pill. Take that, and then it goes through the digestive process, which typically takes longer. So use your common sense. If you have any questions about that, connect in with your doctor. He might not know exactly, but if you feel like you have a good functional medicine doctor that you can throw that past, then definitely do that. That is my best suggestion for that. What is the shelf life, and should I keep them in the refrigerator? None of our products need to be kept in the refrigerator. You certainly can keep them in the refrigerator if you like. We do suggest that you don't put the salves or the serum in the refrigerator, especially the serum. It will start to solidify a little bit, because we don't add any preservatives or chemicals. And the little bit of coconut oil and shea butter that are in the serums will solidify a little bit and make it a little bit harder to pump out and use it. I keep my serum typically in the bathroom where it's nice and warm. Don't take years and years and years to use a bottle of serum, because it will eventually go rancid like oils do. So when you get a bottle of serum, and even the salve, use it up. Use it when you need it. So that's my best advice for that. Now, the tinctures and the capsules, you can certainly put them in the refrigerator, but you don't need to. So are your products good for pets? Yes, but you need to dissipate the alcohol out first, because cats and dogs specifically, which is where we get most of our questions from for pets, their systems cannot handle alcohol, even small amounts. So we suggest that you get boiling water, pour it into a cup, and this is one of the questions, is how do you dissipate alcohol out of a tincture? You pour some boiling water into a cup, put the tinctures into the water, let the water come down to room temperature, and the heat of the hot water will have dissipated all the alcohol. And that's a really great way to do for yourself, if you're sensitive, for kids, and for your pets, if you need to. We are in the beginning phases of formulating a product line for pets, and we're going to start off with just a couple in the beginning, and we're in the very beginning of that, and it's super, super exciting. So stay tuned for that. What is the difference between organic and wildcrafted? Now, organic means basically they are cultivated herbs and plants. That means people plant them, people water them, people control the sunshine and the nutrients. Maybe they give them fertilizer. Those are organic. Those are organic plants, because if they don't put pesticides or herbicides on them. than they're organic, but they are still pampered plants. Now, this is better than commercially grown plants that spray all kinds of stuff all over them. But the difference between organic and wildcrafted is that wildcrafted are plants that grow out in Mother Nature, and they are basically prone to the elements. If Mother Nature drops a bunch of rain during a season, you might have bigger, more juicy plants. You might have plants with different properties, but maybe these plants don't get a lot of water, and maybe they have to go deeper and get more minerals and more nutrients from the ground. Sometimes plants actually have higher properties if they have to struggle a little bit. It's kind of like doing, if you're a wine drinker and you know anything about wines that are dry farmed, that means that the farmers who grow the vines do not irrigate them. They let the vines struggle, and it makes for deeper, richer, albeit smaller grapes. But you get different flavors, and you get sometimes richer, better properties. So, like for example, with our Lomatium, this is a wild crafted. Because Lomatium's never been successfully cultivated, we actually go out and most of you know we wildcraft our Lomatium. And if you hear someone say this is wildcrafted, you will know that it is wildcrafted. That means it has gone out and collected and harvested in its own environment where it grows. So that is the difference between organic and wildcrafted. Definitely both are better, and in my opinion, these are the only options you should be looking for in your herbal supplements. Okay, this one we get all the time. This is, why is LDM or Lomatium a lighter or darker color sometimes? And is the lighter one as potent as the darker one? Okay, so this all goes back to the whole wildcrafting thing. When herbs are grown only in Mother Nature and they're not controlled as far as how much hydration they get, how much sunshine they get, how many added nutrients are added to the soil, this is, when we wildcraft Lomatium, we are literally at the mercy of Mother Nature. And sometimes if there's a super rainy season, these herbs might be darker, or the roots might be darker. Now, what we do is we do our best to be able to tell if roots are going to cure darker or lighter. And sometimes we can't tell, and they might actually taste different and look different. And as modern humans that we are used to manufacturing, where everything comes out looking the same, it can be a little bit of a curve to get used to having things that are grown in nature that look different and maybe smell a little bit different. So you might have gotten a bottle of really light Lomatium that is like, this doesn't look the same, it doesn't taste the same. But here's the deal. We do our wildcrafted Lomatium ourselves, and then after we dry it and we cure it, we take it to a manufacturer. The manufacturer puts it through two different tests. So first there's a test when the raw material of the Lomatium comes into the factory or into the manufacturing facility. And they test it to make sure that all the markers are there, which basically means, does this plant have all of the Lomatium dissectum markers? Is this really the plant that we say it is? And if it doesn't match the markers, and this is with any herb that we put in any of our formulas, because Lomatium is the only one that we wildcraft. The rest we have to count on different sourcing from different places to make sure that, we give you the highest quality. But if it doesn't meet the standards, not only of us, but the testing that the manufacturer does, it gets sent back. So every single time we've ever had Lomatium tested, whether it comes out light or dark, it tests all good. It tests good, and all the markers are there. Now, once it goes through that first test, it comes in, goes through the whole process of the curing, the filtering, the bottling, the labeling, all of that. Then it goes into another test, which is, again, a certificate of analysis, which shows that everything that we say has been done and is it rightly done in the bottle, it's all there. So yes, just as effective, and we stand 1,000 times behind every single thing that we produce. Once or twice a year, I go down sometimes with members of the team, and we literally will tour the facility. We check for everything. We take a look at the lab. We watch the workers in the process, and it's a pretty cool process that they do. And it's just one of those things that's super, super important to us because we know that we get to affect your health in a really good way. So I could talk about that for a while, but that is the darker or lighter things of Lomatium. Should I take Barlow Herbal products on an empty stomach or with food? Now, some of our products we suggest you take on an empty stomach, like our Clarkia. When you're doing a Clarkia cleanse, it's actually a really good idea to take the dose of Clarkia prior to a meal. 20 or 30 minutes, an hour, it doesn't matter. Because it goes right to the bloodstream so fast, your body absorbs it really quickly, and then it can go in and work away from food, then that is optimal. Now, if you forget, then it's totally great. It's better to be consistent and keep your dose in than to miss. So it will indicate in the catalog on each product if it's optimal to take before a meal. But for the most part, the rest of the products, if it doesn't indicate, you can take it without a meal or you can take it with a meal. It doesn't really matter. Like for me, I don't actually have a bottle here right now because I just used the last of it today, but I have the Heart Love has the cayenne pepper, and typically I will take that with a meal just because my body, I am really sensitive to heat, and if the capsule opens and there's a tiny bit of heat, it can be a little bit uncomfortable, and so I prefer to take it with food. So it really is up to you. Are Barlow Herbal products gluten-free, and what about vegan? So all of our products are gluten-free. We don't have anything that has technically a food. It's all herbal based. We don't do anything that is like a gelatin based. Like all of our capsules are tapioca, organic vegetable cellulose. So it's actually tapioca and it's organic. And so it's actually really good for people who being a vegan is important to you. So all of our products, except for our salves. So we make, some of our salves have beeswax. And if that kind of being a vegan is important to you, the only products that you would not be able to use if you don't even want to use beeswax are the salves with beeswax. Last year we brought out a salve that is a vegan golden salve, and it's made with a flower wax called Candelia wax. So that is actually a really nice product. It's got Lomatium oil, it's got shea butter, it's got coconut oil, and we just switched out the beeswax for flower wax, which is nice. So yes, all of our products are gluten-free, all of them, and all of our products are vegan except for the salves with the beeswax. Do you recycle your bottles and jars? Yes, we personally recycle everything. We think it's very, very important, and we highly encourage you to recycle all of your bottles. That's why all of our products come in glass, because that is a lot easier for Mother Nature to break down, and it's actually easier to recycle. As you know, plastic lives forever out there in the environment, so that does make a difference for us. We've had people that have wanted to send us their empty bottles, and we have had people in the past send us bottles, but if you will reach out and find places in your own neighborhoods or your own recycle local places, that would be optimal, because that would be the best way to actually handle recycling. 16, we're almost through. I am super sensitive to everything. I would really like to try the LDN, but I'm completely freaked out at even the thought of the detox rash. I am sure I'm going to get it. Okay, so this is something that we get all the time, and partly because we know that we front load everybody with information about the rash. We are going to give you as much information as we can and what to expect if you do get the rash, or even the potential of the rash, so that you are not surprised and you can make a decision whether or not you want to take it. So what I would say is if you really want to use it because you've heard of all the amazing things it does, you're having some health issues that you know it would help, is start with a bottle of Liver Love, or a similar product that supports and detoxes your liver, like something with dandelion root and milk thistle. Those are going to make a huge difference in helping your body prepare your liver to take the detox that the Lomatium can push out in some people. So do that first. Then start with a formula like the Immunity Boost, which has other liver supportive herbs, and then it also has a small amount of Lomatium. It's got 25% Lomatium. Acclimate your body a little bit slower. You can even start off, if you're super freaked out by it, start off with 1 drop and do that for 2 or 3 days. Then do 2 drops and do that for 2 or 3 days. So it might take you a while to build up where you don't have to worry about the thought of getting a rash, but you also need to remember this. and this is completely my opinion, sometimes you have to get a little bit worse before you get better. And we have been dealing with and making Lomation for 45 years, but dealing with people and helping them get through their rash for more than 45 years. And it's something we've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rashes. I have come to really believe it's not dangerous, it's not contagious. And if it were an allergic reaction, it would show up on the first day you took it, but it typically shows up between days 5 and 7. And if you've watched any of my videos on Lomation, you know you've heard me say that before. So I would just say sometimes you have to be brave. When you're doing something that's unfamiliar, especially in the whole herbal remedy realm, it can be a little bit disconcerting because there's a learning curve. Sometimes you just have to jump in. Jump in with both feet, be confident, be willing to do something that's uncomfortable. And that's where all the good stuff lies, as you know, and you've heard me say. Okay, so I heard Jane talk about using Lomation to clear out a herpes virus. How do you dose specifically for that? Okay, so I'm going to go through this really super quick. And this is, I think all the things that I'm saying, I'm thinking that this video is going to have to be unlisted too. Okay, so what I would do is for 30 days, I would do LDM, half a dropper full 3 times a day. 30 days. Now, this is after you've already gone through the other things like the immunity boost, the liver love, if you choose to do that. So if you're just going to start on the LDM, 25 to 30 drops 3 times a day for 30 days. Then take that same dose, 25 to 30 drops, and go down to twice a day. And do that for another 5 to 6 months. And then go down to once a day and do that for another year or more, depending on where you are. And then the best thing to do is to check. Go get tested, see where you are. Go by how you feel. Now, you might get breakouts if you're doing this for, say, a herpes virus. You might get breakouts along the way as your body's healing. Simply increase the dosage when you have a breakout. You can even use a drop or two if you get, cold sores on your lips or other places on your body. Put a drop of LDM directly on the cold sore and then keep taking it internally. And just increase your dosage while you have a breakout. That can be very common. So it's not something to get discouraged about as your body starts to clear this out. And the nice thing is that you can help control the symptoms without the use of prescription drugs. And in my opinion, that is one of the best things about it, because the prescription drugs can have their whole line of side effects that is not something you want. So that is it in a nutshell. Now, all of this stuff is detailed in the catalog. If you don't have one, please send us an email at customerservice@barlowherbal.com and we'll attach this on a PDF. And if you live in the United States, we can send you a hard copy, which we normally always do with your first order. But if you want another one or two to share, please don't hesitate to ask us and we'll pop some in the mail for you. Okay, so the last one. What are the must-haves to have in your emergency essential kit? Okay, so this is also something that we get on a pretty regular basis. And as a person who believes in being prepared, I think that we need to have 3 things. And I'm going to go over this really quick because I'm looking at that we're already at 23 minutes. LDM for virus, fungus, yeast, any type of infection in that realm. Clarkia, which is parasite infections, and it's broad spectrum, so it covers that. If we get in a situation where we maybe don't have clean water, maybe there's a natural disaster, maybe there's a little epidemic or pandemic going around, that is a nice thing to have. And then the final one is our Golden Salve Original, which is Lomation in a petroleum jelly base. So this is something that has an extremely long shelf life, and those 3 things you can set aside and the shelf life is extremely long. So those, to me, those are the 3 things to have. Those are must-haves in everyone's emergency essential kit. So I hope this has been helpful. Please save the link to this video because I am going to definitely put this one up as unlisted. Let me know if you have any questions. You can comment below the video because that's where I'll be able to make comments and expand on a couple things that you might have questions about. And thank you for watching. If you got to the end of this, yay, kudos. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.